Ever feel like you're just skimming the surface? Like you
Hmm.
wish you could really get something important, but without, wading through hundreds of pages.
Oh, absolutely. We all feel that information overload.
We get it. So, in today's deep dive, we're kind of handing you the shortcut. We're distilling the wisdom from a book that seriously took off the #1 Amazon bestseller back in 2025. Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty.
Yeah, that book really resonated. And it's clear why. Shetty, well, he was a monk for years, right?
Right.
And he translates that ancient wisdom into really practical advice for, just navigating modern life, finding some calm in all the chaos.
Exactly. So our mission here is to pull out the core stuff, the actionable insights from Think Like a Monk, the things you can actually start using, like today, without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Mm.
We promise some surprising facts, some really relatable examples from the book. And hey, if this sounds valuable, do us a favor, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments what book you want us to tackle next.
Good point.
And seriously, if you want more deep dives like this one, make sure you subscribe to the Book Talkers Podcast YouTube channel. We've got a lot more planned.
So by the end of this, you should have a really solid grasp on how to let go of that mental junk that weighs you down,
Yeah.
how to cultivate a mind that's more focused, clear, how to tap into your purpose, and even how service can actually make your life feel more fulfilling.
Those really are the biggies, aren't they? Peace and fulfillment.
They're the cornerstones, really.
Okay, let's dive right in then. Part 1, let go. Shetty kicks this off with identity, which, wow, that's a big one we all grapple with. Who are we?
It is huge. And it's fascinating how much of our self-concept is, well, borrowed. It's shaped by outside stuff, family, society, what we see online.
Totally that curated reality.
Exactly. Shetty really pushes us to look past those external definitions and anchor ourselves in our values. Like what actually matters to you deep down, not just what you think should matter.
How much are we driven by those shoulds? It's a great question. He's got this quote that really makes you stop and think. Detachment is not that you should own nothing, but that nothing should own you.
That hits hard. It makes you think about all the things, material things, yeah, but also ideas, expectations that end up controlling us.
What kind of external pressures do you think are the biggest culprits today?
Oh, definitely. The pressure to achieve constantly and to project this like perfect image, especially online. That's immense.
Yeah.
And then there are the usual suspects,
Yeah.
career paths, lifestyle expectations. Shetty's point about detachment isn't about not caring.
Right, not apathy.
No, it's about freedom, freeing yourself from being defined by those outside things so you can actually listen to your own internal compass.
Makes sense. Okay, so from identity, he shifts into negativity, which, let's be honest, feels like a daily battle sometimes.
Does it?
Yeah.
He calls out things like gossip, complaining, envy, calls them mental toxins.
Good term for them. They really do poison things.
They do. And they're sneaky because
Yeah.
they just become habits, right?
Yeah.
Ways of thinking, ways of talking. But what's great is he doesn't just say, stop it.
No, he gives you the tools.
Exactly. Actionable stuff,
Yeah.
like consciously practicing gratitude, really looking for the good.
And forgiveness, which is hard, but freeing.
So freeing. And using affirmations, actively choosing more positive thoughts. It's about taking charge of that inner landscape.
Maybe just for a second, listeners could think, is there one negative habit, just one, they'd like to start working on?
That conscious effort, yeah, that's key, which leads nicely into the last part of letting go in the book, fear.
Ah, fear, the big blocker.
The ultimate blocker, maybe. And Shetty connects a lot of our fear back to those attachments we were just talking about.
Fear of losing things or losing face.
Exactly. Fear of loss, fear of judgment, and also just our ego wanting to be in control all the time.
So what's the monk approach?
Well, he talks about shifting focus towards service, towards helping others, and towards accepting the present moment, the uncertainty of it all. It lines up with a lot of philosophies. Focus on what you can control, accept what you can't.
So less fighting the fear, more redirecting the energy.
Precisely. You put your energy into something bigger than your own anxiety. And by accepting that life is uncertain, fear starts to lose its grip a bit. He has another great quote here. Something like, when you learn to navigate fear, you create room for growth.
Ooh, I like that. Fear as an opportunity, not just an obstacle.
Right. It reframes it completely. Facing it is where the development happens.
Okay, so that covers letting go. Powerful stuff. Now let's shift to part 2, how to grow. And this kicks off with purpose. He uses the term dharma. Can you unpack that a little?
Sure. Dharma, in Shetty's context, it's like finding your sweet spot. where your natural talents and the things you're genuinely passionate about intersect with a way to contribute to serve the world.
So it's more than just a job description.
Oh, much more. It's finding that thing that feels uniquely yours to do,
Hmm.
that aligns what you love, what you're good at, and how you can make a difference, even a small one. It's like a guiding principle.
And he gives us some questions to help figure that out.
He does. 3 key ones, basically. What am I actually good at? Like, naturally.
Okay.
What do I genuinely love doing? What gives me energy?
Mm-hmm.
And, crucially, how can I use those things to help others, to serve in some way?
Simple questions, but probably not simple answers.
Definitely requires some honest reflection. Maybe listeners can just mull those over for a moment. What comes up for you? And, hey, if you're finding this helpful, just a quick reminder to subscribe to the Book Talkers Podcast YouTube channel. We explore stuff like this all the time.
Good reminder. Okay, so purpose is huge. The next bit on growth seems maybe more down to earth, but he says it's critical. Routine.
Absolutely critical. Shetty really emphasizes how a solid routine creates stability, inner peace even. It grounds you. He shares his own morning routine method, calls it time.
Right. Time. Thankfulness.
Insight like reading or learning something.
Meditation.
And exercise.
It's pretty comprehensive. Covers mind, body, spirit almost.
It really does. But the great thing is you don't have to implement all 4 immediately tomorrow morning.
Ew. Okay.
Yeah. Even just adding one element, maybe starting with thankfulness or 5 minutes of meditation. It can still make a big difference in setting the tone for your day. It's about building those mindful habits.
Speaking of mindful habits, the next focus is the mind itself. He uses that great analogy, the monkey mind.
It's perfect, isn't it? That feeling of thoughts just swinging from branch to branch, never settling.
Constantly. So what does he suggest? How do you tame the monkey?
Well, he introduces techniques monks have used forever. Things like focused breathing, just paying attention to your breath, super simple, super accessible. Journaling, getting the thoughts out of your head and onto paper.
Which can be really clarifying.
Totally. And then just practicing stillness,
Mm.
even for short periods, just sitting quietly.
And a big part of this is not judging the thoughts, right? Just watching them.
Exactly. Observing them come and go like clouds in the sky, without getting swept away by them, without believing every single one. That's a skill, you know. It takes practice, but it leads to so much more mental clarity and, frankly, emotional stability.
Okay, makes sense. We've covered letting go, we've covered growing. Now, the final piece, how to give. And this starts back with gratitude, which we touched on.
Yes, but he really drills down on it here. For monks, gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It's like a core practice, a deliberate focusing on abundance, on what is there.
Like training your attention.
Precisely. Many traditions build it into the day, start with gratitude, end with gratitude. It actively shifts your perspective away from lack.
So his suggestion is maybe just try starting and ending the day thinking of, what, like 3 things you're grateful for?
Even just a few things, yeah.
Yeah.
Small things, big things. It's simple, but the impact can be profound over time.
Okay. From gratitude, he moves into relationships. And he makes this interesting distinction, transactional versus transformational relationships.
Yeah, that's a really useful way to think about it. Transactional is kind of quid pro quo, right?
Yeah.
What's in it for me? What do I need to give to get?
Like a business deal, almost.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm.
Whereas transformational relationships are about mutual growth, genuine support, really seeing the other person.
And how do monks cultivate those? What are the practices?
He highlights things like compassionate listening, which means really listening to understand, not just to reply.
That's harder than it sounds.
It really is.
Yeah.
Also, forgiveness, letting go of resentment, which frees you up as much as the other person, and understanding things like love languages, how people express and receive love differently.
So maybe think about one relationship you could bring more of that transformational quality to.
That's a great way to apply it. And the final element under give is service, which he positions as like the ultimate monk mindset, living for others.
Wow.
Yeah. He argues that deep, lasting fulfillment doesn't usually come from getting things for yourself. It comes from contributing to others, giving, teaching, supporting, without needing anything back.
That outward focus brings purpose.
Exactly. It connects back to Dharma. In a way, he has this quote, "The highest purpose is to live in service of others." Pretty powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be huge, right? He suggests finding small ways.
Totally. Everyday kindness, little acts of support, they all count. They all create ripples.
Okay. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground from Think Like a Monk. Letting go, growing, giving. If you had to boil it down, What are the absolute must-remember takeaways?
Ooh, okay. Uh, Detaching from ego and external stuff to find your real self.
Hmm.
Training the mind, meditation, stillness. Focusing on service. The power of daily rituals. And underpinning it all, gratitude and purpose.
That's a great summary. And for people listening who are thinking, okay, I'm inspired, but where do I even start? Shetty offers some really concrete first steps, doesn't he?
He does. Very practical. And hey, if this discussion has sparked something, please hit that like button and definitely tell us in the comments what book you'd love for us to dive into next.
Yes. And subscribe to the Book Talkers Podcast YouTube channel so you don't miss out.
Okay, so top practices from the book to start today. He suggests just 3 minutes of gratitude in the morning.
Doable.
Journaling
That's a good.
about what you're holding on to that maybe you don't need anymore.
Okay.
Try meditating, even just for 5 minutes. Daily.
Start small.
Exactly.
Mm.
Think about that Dharma idea, passion plus strength plus service. What might that look like for you?
Mm.
And finally, consciously do something helpful for someone else today. One small act of service.
So maybe listeners could just pick one of those, just one to try today or tomorrow.
That's the idea. And the big message really is you don't need the robes in the monastery. Thinking like a monk is about training your mind intentionally, letting go of the junk, and choosing purpose instead of just reacting to pressure. Every small step counts.
That's really encouraging. It makes it feel accessible. So for everyone listening, we're curious, which of these ideas really landed for you? What resonated from Think Like a Monk? How might you apply something even small in your own life?
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Drop them in the comments below. And please like the video if you found it valuable, and subscribe to the Book Talkers Podcast YouTube channel for more deep dives into books that can make a difference.
It's been great digging into this. It really leaves you thinking. What could be possible if you consciously decided to cultivate just one of these monk-like habits? Just one.
Definitely food for thought, something to explore.
Like and subscribe.